Welcome. This is called the Strong Feminine workshop. It's a workshop about being your full self, embracing the sensuality in you, the feminine side of you, embracing seduction and connecting to your body. It's about feminine presence. And I want to share with you a framework that I developed. It's called the Strong Feminine Method. It's a framework where you're going to see elements of what the work is to get to the most feminine version of yourself. It's a method I created after lots of coaching, lots of expertise in the topic. So it's something valuable that you can take with you and hopefully adapt in your life. We're going to explore a little bit what keeps you stuck in your masculine overdrive. It's often connected to resistance. There's always a part of us that's resisting. So we'll explore that, and then what creates feminine presence, the tree shift. My name is Anna, and I am going to introduce myself in a second. Hi, Josephine. I'm seeing your comment from Sweden, eager to evolve, connection. Okay. So this is what I want to ask you all. Is it love? Is it business? Is it the self? What is it that brings you here? Heather is business. Okay. And I would love for you all to be even more specific. What is the specificity of that? What brings you here even more? So when you say business, Heather, I would love you to tell me more. Like, is it attracting clients? What is it? And then when you say, Josephine, you say you want to evolve. In what area? What does it mean to you to evolve? If you can just give me a bit more from you so I can work with that during the workshop. I am going to briefly introduce myself. My name is Anna Laurence, and I've been focusing on this topic for a long time now, but this last year has really been a deep dive into feminine presence. The reason for that is because I have been in moments of my life very much in my masculine, and other moments of my life I've been excelling at being in my feminine. And I feel like now I've been pretty good from my life experience in like playing with both or like all aspects, this whole spectrum. And I know that many of you are struggling with balancing one with the other. That's what we're going to cover today. I'm from France originally, been living abroad for 18 years now. I'm 44. And I was a dancer for the biggest part of my life. I was a stripper. And I learned so much about feminine presence, how to be in your power, how to be seductive, how to embrace sensuality, how to be in that energy. I learned that it's about obviously a very deep confidence, but it's about a groundedness. It's like a force, like a life force. I know that we all have it in us. So my work is now all about supporting women in finding or reconnecting with their life force and what really makes them unique and themselves. So just in terms of like what brings me here, and I'm sharing that with you all because I want you to understand how it's connected with the topic of being in our feminine. I was a dancer for most of my life. When you are a dancer, you have to sell, whether you have to sell your shows, your production, you have to sell your dances. It's a lot about seducing in the broad sense, like in the sense of building relationship, but also on the spot, like how do you tap into that really strong feminine power so that it comes from a place of power. And I also studied law. I did a master's in law for many years. And then I also were into the nonprofit sector for 10 years, created a charity, successful charity that is still running and making a big impact. I led a business after that in London, lived between Canada, the UK, a bit of France. So when I was in the nonprofit sector for 10 years, I was very much in my masculine. I was very much in that go, go, go mode. I had a team of staff, like the reality, like it was a very grounded, like every day, like kind of push, push, push. It worked, but it was exhausting. I was very much I didn't feel like I was my full self. I felt like I was tapping into one side of me. And when I was dancing, I was obviously very much in my feminine. And so I'm really interested in how the two kind of play together. This is what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to read some of the comments. Josephine, self, I'm downplaying myself. I want to shine, take place as my feminine self, not hustle in my masculine. Well, Josephine, you're in the right place. That's exactly the topic of today. Sally, I want my twin flame back, so I want to embody the goddess energy. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Sally will do that today. Heather, I run conferences and I want the confidence to allow myself to flow in my feminine side. Yes, rather than feeling I have to be in my masculine. Absolutely. I'm with you. I did a lot of stage, as a dancer, I was on stage a lot. So I've been on stage a lot, but then also as a public speaker, when I went in the nonprofit, I was often invited to public speaking and to the media as well on camera and stuff. And obviously we live, and that's true for everybody, we live in a world that is very masculine led. And I always say we love men. It's nothing to do with that. It's just that the society that we live in, and that has always been, is a very masculine society, meaning that we reward those things like strategy, linear thinking, performance. It's very analytic, it's very cerebral. And I always think of the masculine more like a head energy. It's like we're very much in our head. I believe that the world needs a balance, just like the night and the day, the yin and the yang. We need the feminine, we need the body. I know we live in our head a lot. This work is about coming back to your body. That's for all of you. And today we'll talk a lot. I'm going to tell you a lot about that. Like, how do you go in your body? How do you come on stage or in a meeting or wherever you are as your full self? It's like a physical change. It's not like you're going and you're in your head and you're just like in operating mode. It's more like like a presence that is essential, of course. I'm standing, by the way, so if you see me moving around, that's why. Because I like to be in my body. I found when I do public speaking, whether it's online or in person, I need to be standing because it's like I need the blood flow. I need the energy to move, Nadine, I've been on a journey of learning to be in my feminine, even when I'm hustling, and I want to continue. Yes, I want to attract the men I actually like better. Okay. Yes. And Josephine, I read that. Yes. Okay. I am going to use the method I'm teaching. I'm mentoring women. I will mention, of course, what I do. I will mention that toward the end if you're interested in learning more and potentially join my program. My program is starting next week, and it's in a very small group, and we work over 3 months. I'm going to use this more to give you the ingredients that I believe work. Then, of course, if you don't need to do it alone. If you want to be supported and if we feel like we're a good match, then we can talk after. I want to tell you that I know this workshop is free and it's very easy to be multitasking and not caring because, why not? But this is all about embodiment. This is about presence. I want to invite all of you to think of this workshop as like, maybe you paid £1,000 to be here. It's something that you actually committed to. So as much as you can, try to be present. I guarantee you I will be present and I'm going to give you my best. So I would love for you to do that as well. Let's start with a little grounding practice. I'm just going to get you to sit back in your chair or wherever you are and just be in the body with me. I'm going to do it with you. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable, or you can lower your gaze. I want you to breathe. So we're kind of breathing deeply. It's not like a forceful breath. It's more like a natural flow. And we're just going to monitor the breath going in through the nose. Feel the air coming in and exhale. You can exhale through the mouth for a few times. Let go. And I would like to invite you to stretch now. So you can really be in your body. You can get up if you want to. You can stretch really big. Take lots of space. This is about taking space. This is about being seen for who you are. And it starts now. So I want you to really take space, really, you don't need to be small. You can actually even get up. You can jump around. If you want, you can stay static, do nothing. But I do invite you to feel as you're doing that. So feel what the body is feeling. What is happening inside? There might be some tension, maybe around the neck or in the jaw. Sometimes we have like really tense face, like, we hold a lot of tension on the face. So try to see how you're feeling. And the goal is not to even force relax it. The goal is to monitor. So I want you to turn inward and just assess and be curious. So what's happening? And just think about that, like what's happening inside my body as I'm moving. I'm part of this workshop. It's brand new. Not sure what to expect. Maybe there's tension somewhere. Maybe it's in the hips, in the spine. So monitor that. And I would like you to be curious about it and see if your body is willing to talk to you. And what I mean by that is just be curious and inquire your body. Okay, the tension, or maybe it's not tension, it could be something else, but like, what is it, What does it represent? What does it need? What does my body need right now? It can be anything. My body just needed water. I just heard that my body is very dehydrated and I did not realize that. So, and now you can sigh a few times. Deep inhale, exhale. I would like you to stay as you are. So keep your eyes closed. And we're going to see if there is any resistance. When I talk about being in your feminine, when I talk about feminine energy, sensuality, being in the flow, like all of those concepts, I want you to monitor what is happening inside of you. I want you to see if there's any resistance anywhere in the body or in the mind. Think about those things that you're trying to achieve. Like you might want to be more comfortable around partners. Maybe you want to be bright on stage. Maybe you want to attract new clients. So what's happening? Is there any resistance? And if so, try to see where. Is there like sometimes some tension in the throat, in the chest? Maybe it feels heavy. Resistance also takes the shape of impatience. So if you're feeling yourself like you're a bit annoyed now, you want this to go faster, this could be a form of resistance. Or you might be feeling distracted, hard to focus. That's a form of avoiding as well. So just make note, remember, there's no good and bad. It's just about giving space for your body to express itself. And as you're observing the resistance, try to see even deeper what's underneath. What is the resistance trying to protect? Things can come, the things that come up might be vulnerability, feeling embarrassed, feeling ridiculous, those things, or maybe childhood things. Maybe it's very emotional. It's all good. There's space for that. And I'm going to get you to breathe deeply together. So deep inhale and a deep exhale, big sigh. Once again, deep inhale and exhale. And you can come back, open your eyes. Welcome back, everyone. Please write if anything came up for you. Maybe something like anything emotional, or if there was resistance, any fear, please write it down. Heather is saying fear of failure. Okay. Is that a new thing for you, Heather, or did you know about it, but it just came back, or you became more aware today? You wanted to leave, Sally. Okay, yes, that's very, very typical. Like some people get really annoyed, very impatient, very triggered whenever we're starting to tune inward in the body. That is a form of resistance. And again, there's no judgment. It's just like the flight or fight, okay, this is uncomfortable, like I'm annoyed, I need to leave. Okay, so Heather, it's a new thing. It just came to me whilst my eyes were closed when I tuned in. Okay. So that's good to hear. Also, everyone, when you share what came up, I would love for you to share where was it located in your body, if anywhere specific. Solar plexus. Nadine, I don't know why I feel like I can't hear my body unless I'm alone. Yes, okay. Or when no one is speaking to me. Yeah. Nadine, I found often as well, sometimes to redo it really helps. For me, I often, the first time when I hear like some sort of exercise like that, sometimes I block a little bit. And then I redo I watch the recording or whatever, I redo it. And I found it's much easier because I know what to expect. I guess it's a bit of a control thing where it's like, oh, I kind of need to know where this is going and I need to feel safe before I can really go deep. It could be that. A feeling of shame, not being good enough to shine in my throat and hips. Okay, that's deep. That's deep, Josephine. I invite everyone to put a little heart or thumbs up whenever you see a comment that you can relate to, or because this is about feeling supported as a group. This is about creating a safe space for all of us. This is a big part of my work. Is I get you to do lots of visualization. I mean, that was very brief and whatever, but you can go much deeper and giving space to the body to talk. And this is going to allow you to be into your full self, to be much more connected to who you are, all aspects of yourself. So I'm going to share with you, this is my method. It's called the Strong Feminine Method. And there are three pillars. There's be free, be bold, be sensual. And I'm going to walk you briefly through each. And there's a lot you can take from that. I invite you to question yourself when I share these elements. I'm going to ask you questions so you can answer. But what you see in the middle is like, I like to call it like the life force. It can be your full self, your being. It could be consciousness. It could be God. It can be anything. It can be your inner goddess. So I encourage you to see this as like it's like an energy, and whether you're spiritual or not, it doesn't really matter. It's more like when you're feeling so confident, so grounded, so powerful, so good, you're floating and like there's a shine in you, and we all see it in some people. That's that in the middle. That's comes with like that's the goal. We're trying to reach that a bit every day, a little bit every day, or on demand. This is a feeling, for me, this is a feeling of lightness. It's the light as well. It's bright, it's colorful for me. It's a feeling of harmony. It's not a, it's like a balance, feeling of harmony. It's very, I love dancing. I teach dance. So it's about dancing, like it's about being in your body. For me, that's that. But I invite you to think about that. What color represent that version of you? What kind of energy? And you can even draw it if you want. You can spend time in it, if you see what I mean, and you can feel it in your body as well. Let's start with be free. When you work with me, you work over 3 months. 1 month is be free, second month be sensual, and the third month is be bold, or in whichever order. I want to invite you to think of being free in the sense that you're going to break free from what people think. A lot of people, a lot of women, they come to me and they feel like they're not operating at their full potential. Many women tell me, I feel often I worry about what other women will think, or what maybe attracting the wrong kind of men, attracting toxicity. Having the spotlight on myself makes me feel uncomfortable, and therefore I can't be completely free to be myself and to be unapologetic. Can you share in the chat if you can relate to that? If you feel some of that, or what shape it takes for you when you're not feeling like you can be your full self? Do you feel any of that? Like, for instance, you're limited by worrying about what other people think. Maybe you're thinking you're going to shadow other women and you don't want to be that kind of woman. Yes, so I'm seeing some yes, I'm seeing some yes, especially showing vulnerable emotions. Yes, okay. So it's a practice to be into your unapologetic version of yourself. And these things are not, one time you have a aha moment and it's like you're a new person. This is about shifting slowly your identity. And it's important to be patient with yourself and practice this. So practice like, okay, who is that version of myself? So you need to explore who she is. And then how do I start behaving in that way? And it can be tiny glimpses of time that you start shifting that. I want to invite you to think of the good girl conditioning. How do we break free from the good girl conditioning? And this idea of like, oh, as soon as you're like in your seduction mode, whether it's a sexual thing or just like being glowy and, you know, like we often feel guilty. We feel, oh, it's cheating or it's dirty or like, yeah, we feel like we become not a nasty person. And it's like, no, the good girl conditioning is not necessarily, it doesn't mean you become like a bitch and an asshole and a bad person. It just means that you break free from religious pressure, cultural background. It means you break free from the conditioning since history of time that women are sins, like we're sinful because we're temptation for the men, because it's a society that is very masculine for men. So it's about learning to break free from that, removing the layers and discovering who is that woman in you that is the full version of herself. And so I like to say, as you see at the bottom, it's written the queen, because I use archetypes in my coaching. I use archetypes a lot. I found archetypes allow us to explore parts of ourselves without feeling threatened or scared, because it's an archetype. And so you get to practice who is the queen in you? How does she move? What does she like? How does she communicate? And you get to practice that, the practicing the queen in you. So my question for you all is, what would happen if you were free, if you broke free? What would happen in your life? And I want concrete answers. So I don't want like, oh, I would feel great. Obviously, you would feel great. I want to go much deeper. What would actually happen in your life? As you are all writing, I just want to say, like, those feelings that were shared earlier, Josephine, for instance, what you shared, I invite you to go back to that version of you later. Like it could be like 5 minutes before bed or anytime. Like it could be 1 minute. And just going back to that version of yours, that resistance, and that feeling in the throat or that feeling in the chest, and just be in it and not trying to change it, not trying to fix it, because those feelings are trapped inside and they just need to be seen. They need to exist. They need your mind to be like, oh yeah, I hear you. Like I'm not shutting you down. Because the more we shut it down, the more these parts are vocal, loud. So they're going to take the form of tension, stress, headaches, sickness. It's very important to let the body give space to the body to feel. So that's something I practice a lot with my clients, but you can also do some of that alone. Sally would be more explicitly sexual. Yes. Yes. Okay. I love that, Sally. Yes. Absolutely. So many of us, like we don't even explore that side of us, the sexual part of us, because we're anxious, we're worried, we don't know who is that version of me? Like, I don't know. So there's work to be done around that. Heather, I would feel non-threatened and unapologetically myself. Okay. And so, Heather, can you go even deeper than that? What would happen if you felt unapologetically yourself? What would happen in real life? And Sally, I mean, to some extent, I could even ask you the same question. Like, let's say you embrace that more sexual side of you. What would happen? What would happen? Does it mean that now you're just more in your pleasure, like you have more orgasm, you ask for what you want maybe with your partners? What would actually happen? Josephine, I would take up space, feel bigger, do what the hell I want. Yes. When you do this work and you give space for yourself to be big, there is such, I swear, like such a sense of relief. It's like you're dropping a giant backpack that you've been carrying your whole life. It's like, oh, and you feel lighter. And your body thanks you for it. You usually lose weight, even like you kind of like shred, the heavy burden thing because you become just more free. I wouldn't care what people thought. Yes, Sally. So that means most likely you would go deeper into any fantasy, or you would maybe ask, yeah, like so many of us, we don't ask for our orgasm. We just wait for the man to come and then we're like, yeah, okay, sex is over. No, fuck that. I want my orgasm. You're going to make it happen. That's what you're here for, to make me have an orgasm. So it's really like being much more demanding, not in a bitchy way, but more like you're lucky. You're lucky to be with me. You are chosen to give me pleasure. Now make it happen. I coach a lot on that, like on like that relationship with partners and how to operate from a place of, you know, I know who I am. We'll talk about that actually now in the sensual in a minute. And Heather, I wouldn't take things personally, succeed without second guessing myself what people are thinking. Love it. Yes. You would probably be even more in action, but that would probably be a bit more intuitive, a bit more aligned with who you are, less in your head, more like, yeah, I just feel I need to do this. I'm doing it. And I'm not going to justify and I'm not going to ask permission. I'm just going to do it. That's that also saves so much time. Just one last thing I want to share about Anna, who is one of my clients, and she worked on being free with me in my program. And Anna is I mean, she's just very typical of my clients. She's like, I think she's actually, I think 62, and she's married. She has kids that have grown up, and she's always been very masculine. Even the way she looks, like, she's put together, but you can feel a strong masculine energy in her look. And She works in, analytic kind of work, like kind of a senior role. And as a result, she felt like she never really explored the woman in her because she never had time, because she raised kids, she was married, she still is, she has full-time job, no time to be her. And at 62, she was like, you know what, I think she's 60 actually. She was like, I'm done with that. This is the year I'm going to be my full self. This is the year I am going to be like that woman that wear like a fancy dress if she wants to. And you would be surprised how many women want to work with me because they want to dare to wear a red dress or a flowery dress. I swear I did not know it was such a thing. But obviously the dress is just it's just the visible part of a deeper work. And Anna, by the end of the 12 weeks, now she's wearing red all the time. She's obsessed with red. Not to say that you need to wear red in order to be feminine, but for her, that felt like a color that felt aligned. But also what's interesting is it completely shifted how she operates every day. So her day-to-day actually started changing. She stopped putting herself first with her family. She was always kind of serving everyone almost, like making sure everybody is okay, but the kids are grown up, and so she kind of relearned to put herself as like a priority. And it completely shifted her relationship with her daughter, who is like 18 or something. And her daughter was actually okay with her femininity, but Anna wasn't so much. So there was a bit of a distance because they were not the same kind of woman. And Anna, by exploring her feminine self, actually became sort of a newly found role model for her daughter, and her daughter was very supportive. So very beautiful. I mean, I have a video actually of her on my website, so you can check if you're curious to hear how it impacted her to develop her feminine side. Let's talk about the sensual side. Yes, let's talk about the sensual side. I know many of you want to hear about that. So the sensual side, if you can see my screen, the sensual, what do I mean by that? So often when we talk about sensual, we imagine a very like complete different person than we are. And we imagine like a version of us that we're even shy to imagine. Like we imagine, but what I want to bring you back to sensual, like the root of the word is sense. This is the tip number one for everyone. If you want to feel sensual, if you want to be more sensual, you've got to start by reactivating your senses. So once again, we're going back to the body, embodiment. So think about it. When you're relaxed and you're happy and you take time to smell things and taste good stuff and touch whatever, like flowers or a lover, whatever, like when you admire beauty, when you create beauty. Like for me, I paint and I draw and I create lots of colors. That's very important to create beauty. This is ways to feed your senses. When you feel your senses, you're more present. You slow down, you're more awake, you're more aware, you're present. And there's nothing more attractive than presence. You can have that anywhere, whether you're in a work meeting, whether you're in a date, whether you're in a fight. What I mean is like, being like, okay, like, again, am I in my head right now? Or am I in my whole self? I'm not saying switch off your head all the time. I'm saying, can we bring the focus everywhere instead of just here? So on the screen, you can see I wrote channel your feminine from your body. Your feminine being is through your senses. Your sensuality will come through being in your presence, in your body, in that energy. So I invite you to start cultivating that again, like you're a child. When you're a child, you're in your senses, you're experiencing things. And then when we talk about seduction, I always talk about playfulness. When I was a dancer, I had to sell my dances because when you're a dancer, a stripper, you have to sell your dances. It's very hard work because amongst a lot of other women in the room, and you have nothing, very little clothes on yourself. It's, when you get a lot of no's all night, you sell your dance, it's like, do you want to dance? And the men are like, no, no, no. And it's public. Everyone can see that people said no to you. So it's very hard. And you have to learn to be in your power. You have to learn your worth. You have to learn to not let rejection unbalance, who you are and what you're worth. And what I know from years I've danced on stage, pole dance, strip, like I've done it all for 16 years. And I can tell you that the thing that works is playfulness. When you stop taking yourself and life so seriously and you decide to play, you decide to have fun. And again, you decide to be in the moment and you decide to just be and just let's see where it goes. This thing about not being so attached. When we are in that playful mode, joyful mode, things shift. Things like people are attracted to that. It's very attractive we are attracted to people who are in that light, bubbly energy, and they're grounded at the same time. They're truly themselves because they've worked on themselves. They've done the be free part that we talked about. So they are their full self, but they're also bubbly and light, and they just want to be and have a good time. This is really something important for sensuality, and I believe that when we do that, we become more attractive, more seductive, and we attract more business. So if you're trying to attract clients, for instance, or contract deals, or I don't know, whatever, if you want to be a guest speaker on podcast or whatever, like you will see that when you manage to be in that sensuality in the broad sense, you're going to be much more attractive and attract businesses. And you're going to attract partners like love. Some of you I know are dating, so you're going to be attracting that kind of partner that are at your level. You're not going to attract the drama because you're fully yourself, you're authentic. So I would love to hear in the chat if you can write down what does it mean to you when I talk about sensuality? What are you thinking about for yourself? What's your takeaway for yourself? Can you share that in the chat? What does it mean to you, sensuality? And I will write it. What does sensuality mean to you? If you can put that in the chat. I got a feeling of shame and disgust. Okay, Sally. Yeah, that's pretty strong. A lot of the time when we think about that femininity and embracing that side of us, many of us women, we have been victim of some sort of trauma, abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse. And of course, there is a lot of stigma around being in our feminine, being seductive, or being sensual. It's a very, very loaded term. I think we need to be kind to ourselves and acknowledge that and being aware that this is the world we live in, where there is stigma. It's very heavy for people it makes people uncomfortable. A lot of the shame and disgust can come from past experiences, sadly, but also often it's projection as well from the world. Nadine, being more in my body as I do everything. Yes. Dancing, talking, drawing, working. Love it. Heather, allowing your best happy self to show up. I can do this when I am with a man and I feel very safe with. Intuition also comes up. Yes. And feeling safe is something that we can also provide to ourselves. Right? And so also doing the work as well to provide a sense of safety despite whatever is outside. So that's part of the work as well. Josephine, I can relate to that. When I am safe and comfortable with someone, I can be playful and bubbly. Yes, yes. Lovely. So remember, I think it's, we want to so basically my work is putting the spotlight back on yourself, teaching you to put the spotlight back on yourself. This is your own life, and the light should be on yourself because it's your life. Of course, once you're feeling good, you're feeling you can hold that spot, you can hold that presence for yourself, then you hold the space for everyone else. You're going to be a better mom, better wife, better partner, better boss, because you're comfortable with yourself and with taking the space you need. And so it's our work to provide safety to some extent to ourselves so that we're not dependent so much on who is on the other side. Do you see what I mean? So we're putting the spotlight back on ourselves. And in terms of sensuality, a good example is my client Liz, because she did the method with me for 3 months, the 12 weeks. And she came to me because she is married. She's been married for like 20 years and she has kids and a big career, like she's very established. And she felt like she was a bit like the man in the relationship with her husband, and it's not like a bad relationship, but she's like feeling like she's holding it together, like many, many women feel. And she felt like there was tension with her husband. She decided to work with me because she was like, I want to be in my feminine. I want to be that playful self that we just talked about with him so that he gets to see that side of me. And so we work together, and through reconnecting to her full self, be free, like the freedom, the sensual, and then the boldness, she was able to go back to her full self, like her deeper. And she's actually a very playful woman, even though she's got like, she really has her shit together. She's like the most productive woman I know. But she actually is a very playful woman. And the bubbly side of her really came back throughout the work we did together. And the difference for her is like as simple as every day, they're like with her husband emptying the dishwasher. They would often like be, how do you say, bicker at each other. Do you know what I mean? She was like, I don't want that. And so with this work, she actually starting to see this tension started to like disamorce, if you see what I mean. They started to right away because she was able to talk about these things in a more playful, like cheeky way. And it kind of brought back that whole like sexy vibe between them. A good success story with Liz. She's also on my website. You can also have a look. The element that I want to talk about now is the bold. If you feel like you've been a lot in your masculine, okay, give me a thumbs up if you feel you've been in your masculine. If you've been operating from your masculine, Heather is saying yes. Please put a thumbs up. Most of my clients are women who feel like they've been in the doing mode, like chasing, forcing, instead of the being mode. I usually work really well with these women because these women are very productive. Normally, once they learn something, once they put their head into something, they get it done. And that's very encouraging because as a coach, you want to work with clients who are going to give themselves the means. I do actually appreciate working with women who have responsibilities, they're dependable, they see themselves as being in their masculine, because once we're going to learn to explore the feminine, you're going to see that it works very quickly. This is the reason I'm going to show you. I did a little drawing here. This is how I see the masculine and the feminine. This is something a lot of my clients really love, so I encourage you to listen to that part. The way I see the feminine and the masculine is like an onion, and it has layers. And the feminine is in the middle, it's the yellow and the orange. In the outside, the external layers, it's the red, and that's the masculine. And that is you. We all have all of it. We all have the masculine and the feminine, and everybody, it changes depending on situation, different time of our life, but also temperament and what we decide to bring up in our life. What I love is when I work with women who have a strong masculine, those layers on the outside of the onion are pretty solid. And I feel like those layers are like a container. And that means that once we start growing and developing the feminine in the middle, which is more like flowy and light and bubbly and more intuitive, it's, it's this whole more, it's a bliss. It's the bliss of life. It's the poesy, it's the creativity. It's so important. And so that part is a bit more, I don't want to say vulnerable, but it's a more tender part. And it needs a bit of a container, which you have in yourself. And chances are, if you're here, like you put the thumbs up, your red is quite strong. That means you can hold a strong feminine. What I want you to understand is, for having worked for a long time on this, I can tell you that you do not need to reduce your masculine in order to grow your feminine. It's not like a scale that needs to do that. You can think in a more abundant way. You can be as masculine as you want. Just make sure you're super feminine as well. All you have to do is grow your feminine instead of trying to reduce yourself and beating yourself up for being masculine and shut yourself down. No, the masculine is so good. It's so important in this world. You need that if you want money, if you want to attract, make things happen. You need a strong masculine, but you also need a strong feminine. So you can just develop the feminine and then think about the onion. The more container you have, the more you can hold feminine. And yes, Nadine, exactly. So much shame around being in our masculine. Honestly, like, personally, I think the sexiest women are the ones who have both really strong. When you think of like big personality in the world, like big celebrities, whatever, the women, they're actually really in their masculine as well as feminine. They're not like just little chicks being a babe. They're not, like think of, I don't know, Beyonce, super freaking hot, right? She's very masculine as well as very feminine. Or think of Michelle Obama, like she's got both of that in her. Like she's such a powerful woman. She's gorgeous, but she's got her shit together. She's also quite masculine and frank and direct. Think of those personality that you admire, and you're going to see that actually often the contrast between a strong masculine and a strong feminine is very attractive. It's very attractive. And I know that because generally when I was dancing, I was always very successful. I was always one of the top dancer, and I have a very strong masculine in me, very strong masculine, but I also have a very strong feminine. So yeah, everyone, you can, that's very much my approach is to, I want you to think of this work if you work with me, but even if you don't, you can take this if that resonates for you. But like, I want you to think of asset. Like we're going to focus on your assets. We're not going to be deficit. We're not doing the deficit approach. We're doing the asset approach. We're going to look at what's amazing about you, and we're going to grow that. We're not going to spend time looking and picking at you and trying to like remove this and that in you. Chances are, if you're here, you've done this work. You've probably done years of therapy or whatever, counseling, and all of you. And I, by the way, only work with women who have done work on themselves, because the past is the past. You've done the work. Now, you know what? Let's focus on the present and the future, and let's focus on what's amazing about you. When you work with me, we look at that. We build on those sides of you. The sessions are really feel good because it's like, okay, like that's true about you. That's amazing about you. Like, and those are, we're going to look into aspects and moments in your life when you've been in your feminine and it worked. Maybe it's been a long time, but it is there. I just want to say grounded confidence. We talked a little bit about that, like finding that confidence in yourself, regardless, and providing that sense of safety for yourself. Then, of course, being bold is being focused on actions. Yes, we are going to work on your mindset, but I want to see results. It's one thing to do workshops and stuff, but if you're not actually integrating that into your life, it's useless. A big part of the work is to look at your actions, your day-to-day actions, weekly action, monthly action, even small bits, and see, are they aligned with those three sides of me? Are they aligned with my whole self, the free? Are they aligned with that feminine side of me? Am I nourishing that feminine side of me when I act? How can I tweak it? If you work with me, we go deep into that, like your day to day, your week to week, whatever that means, your project, like how do we inject more of that feminine in you? I want to ask you, how does it sound to you, the bold aspect, what I just talked about here? Oh yeah, I forgot to say the dominatrix. So this is my favorite part. I love the archetype of the dominatrix, and I want to tell you that the dominatrix is not the masculine, it's the ultimate feminine. The dominatrix is the one who is like, yeah, my pleasure first. She looks at around her and she's like, who's lucky enough to give me pleasure? Who's lucky enough to be in my life? And so the dominatrix, when she goes on a date, she doesn't even, there's no 1% of her that's wondering whether the person across from her will like her. Of course, he's going to love her. The question is, are you good enough to be in my world? Do I want to see you again? It's really shifting that dynamic where it's like giving a chance for the people around you, not in a nasty way, not in a forceful way, in a way that's like, yeah, I know my worth, you know? On my personal life, I'm very much in that dynamic. I explore that a lot. And it's magic. It's magic. I date men. There is nothing defines sexier than a confident woman. And it's true the other way. There's nothing you find sexier than a confident man, right? A confident person. When I go on a date, I swear it never happens. They don't want to see me again. And it's an approach. It's like of course, I look after myself and I know I look pretty good and all of that, but it's also how I present myself. And it's really about like, yeah, I'm going to assess you. You're on the hot seat. I'm going to see if I want you in my life. I had a date last night. He wants to see me again, but I don't. This is a totally different way to see the feminine. I like it. Confidence is sexy. Yes, Josephine. Yes, please share everyone, share what you think about that aspect of boldness, that aspect of celebrating both aspects, whether it's feminine or masculine. Also, how are you with that? Like, what's your level? I give you a second. And I do want to say one more thing about that. Feels authentic, coming from the inside. Yes, Stin, exactly. I love it. Heather, people say I come across as confident and intimidating as I stand and walk tall. Yes. Yet they have no idea that I am nowhere near as confident as I come across. Yes, it's very thought-provoking. Something about that, Heather, the client Anna I mentioned is very much like that. Like she comes across as so confident, and she is. In many levels, she's confident, but not in relation to the feminine aspect. So when we look inside, the feminine aspect is like she's petrified. It's like I remember the first session we had, she was having like I thought she was going to throw up. Like they were like she was like literally like her body was like resisting. Like she was like, it's super weird. But like it's totally, some people it's very physical, but it's like a like fear, fear of what's there for many women because I mean I'm 45 this year. Like it's scary when you haven't really explored that big side of yourself and you're like 40, 50, 60s and you're starting to opening that door. You don't know what's behind. But it's beautiful. So it's a work. It takes work to explore that feminine side in yourself in a way that feels safe, that feels supported. Yeah, I'm going to be 45 this year. Look pretty good, right? Honestly, I believe this work is magic because you just, I mean, health is very important to me. I cultivate my health. I want to be able to use it to choose. Yes, now I end up with men that needs a babysitter. Oh my God, I know. I've been in those kind of relationship in the past. I think many women will relate to that comment, Josephine, sadly. I want to tell you about what, now it's another quite important part, which is a healthy framework. This is an important part because, and don't worry, I keep an eye on the time. So by the way, if you want to work with me, I want to tell you that quickly, you can book a call with me. I have a method, it's called the Strong Feminine Method. And I'm going to give you a link and you can book a one-on-one call. It's kind of a gift call where we're going to explore where you're at and what you need to explore that version of yourself. We can just meet one-on-one for 30 minutes, have a chat, and then decide whether we want to work together or not. If we feel we're a good match, then I can open a seat in my program. I will say my program is very small group. It's even smaller group than we are today. It's like 4 or 5 women. It's quite a premium program. I am warning everyone, this is not one of those cheap thing where you just buy videos and you just binge on it. This is like a deep coaching program over 3 months. And it's very intimate and it's amazing. It's transformative. What I do in my program, I want to share that with you because once again, whether you want to work with me or with another coach, this is what I know works. I'm sharing with you what works. You don't need to do this work alone. And chances are, if you're alone, it's not going to work. You're going to drop the ball. You're going to be crushed by everyday life. I want to invite you to provide the right setting for yourself. Of course, if you work with me, you're going to have this setting with me, and I know how to do that. In a way, I will be your masculine. I will provide the framework and the presence so you can explore your feminine. But even if you don't work with me, I believe everyone, you need to be guided step by somebody that knows what they're doing, somebody who understands what it is to be exploring your feminine. Femininity, as we said, is a very sensitive topic. It's very personal. I think it's important to know somebody who can guide you step by step. I can do that, of course. Community and role model. I want you to have a role model or a few. I want you to surround yourself with other women who are like you on a journey of being a more glamorous version of themselves, a more feminine version. You need people around you. You need I don't know, a friend or two. You need somebody you can talk to. You need, when you do this work, you work in a small community. That's what I offer. I offer very small container, safe, personal, and of course confidential. And the idea is that you have role models in the class and with me, but you also have a safe container where you can practice that new version of yourself. You can practice her. It's safe. And then you need momentum. There will be weeks and days where you're not feeling that energy at all and you're feeling shit and you don't want to hear about her, but you need to stay in that momentum. That's why a small group with a coach will get you there, because we meet every week, no matter what. Whether you have a good week or a bad week, we meet every week, and you're going to practice who you are every week. And I want to see you in bad weeks. I want to see you when things are not great, because that's when we do the work, right? It's not one of those things where you go in a retreat for a month. Of course, everything is great when you're in Thailand on the beach, and then you come home and all your obligation and your stress comes back, and the feminine self is through the window. That's not, I mean, I'm not saying don't do retreats, but if you want something that is integrated in your life, you need to do it in your day-to-day when you're under pressure from your life. Then the last one is being seen. Being seen, so important. You need to be seen as a woman first within your small group, within your friends, within people who are supportive of you, and you're going to be seen. You need to create that for yourself, everyone. I want to ask you, how do you feel about those elements? Is it something that you have around you? Is it something that you can create around you? A lot of women tell me, my friends are not really getting it. Put that in the comment. Do you have those elements around you, like community? Nadine, the session, the one-on-one I'm offering is free. And then it's a program. And I will tell you in detail when we meet. Like I said, it's more like a premium program. You definitely need to be in a place where you're ready to invest into yourself. If you're not ready to invest into yourself, into doing the work, I can't help you. I want to work with women who are in that place where they're like, yeah, this is important to me. And if that's you, then book a call. I have a couple of different offers, and I need to see, where you're at in order to tell you which offer is best for you. I will tell you, I have a program starting on the 28th, so it's next week. I have 2 seats left. We're going to be.
Can you tell me like the minimum cost for the smallest package? Because I'm on a budget and I don't want to waste your time
Yes.
in case.
Yeah. So if you want, like for the 3 months, if you
Mhm.
book, I mean, there's conditions and stuff. The cheaper offer is £1,500. And that gives you 3 months of session plus 3 other months with lots of content.
And that needs to be paid all in one go.
No, that's why it's a bit, I can take installments. If you're really keen, book a call and we can talk, because it would be silly that it's like, oh, it's a payment thing. Like I have really small groups. I'm pretty flexible. I mean, I'm not going to give you a cheaper price, but I can always make it so it works for you. Sandy, you said you're booking a call? Heather, I definitely have incredible female friend and we work well together. Amazing. Amazing. Yeah. Anyone else has question? We're at the end now. Heather, yeah, book a call for sure. I would love to have a chat. I do recommend everyone to book sooner than later because I only have 2 spots left for my program, it's a great problem to have. Any other question before we say goodbye? Nadine as well, you booked a call. Amazing. There's no pressure. It's not like, you have to, because I need to see as well if I can help you. Well, thank you, everyone. I really enjoyed this evening with you.